Guys, we love lists on this show. Every sports media outlet loves lists because then we could rip somebody else for doing their work.
Right.
This latest list is by Matt Castle.
Correct.
What is Matt Castle doing, by the way?
The Matt Castle, Tom Brady's backup
quarterback.
Matt Castle. He's with the 33rd team, which is actually a really popular growing media
it is
outlet.
a growing thing. I've been seeing them a lot.
It's going pretty quickly. But they released their way too early 2023 QB power rankings.
Yeah.
And
let's bring it up.
A lot of issues with these here.
I can't really read that on the screen there. So now I got to bring up the copy that you sent us.
Do you want me to start?
Yeah, why don't you get us started here?
Before we get to Watson, let's start with the obvious here.
All right, here we go. I got it.
Hold on, I got to pull this up
Jalen
in front
Hurts
of
over
mine,
Joe
too.
Burrow. Do you realize that 32 out of 32 teams will take Joe Burrow without thinking twice before they take Jalen Hurts?
Maybe 31, because maybe Philadelphia would stick with that
No,
guy.
Philadelphia would take Burrow. It's not even a question. Philly's taking Burrow.
This list is out of pocket.
Yes.
When you go ahead.
Would you agree with him that 32 out of 32 would take Burrow over Hurts?
Yeah.
Even the Eagles?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
Even
I think the Eagles might keep Hurts.
I think the Eagles will trade him in a heartbeat. Bye.
Yeah.
I got to pull this up on my phone too because I know Anthony can't
I
leave
think
that up
it's
for us
very
all the time.
prisoner of the moment for Castle to put Hurts ahead of Burrow. I think Burrow should be 2. I would put Josh Allen. I know Josh Allen has not gotten to the Super Bowl, and Hurts did.
All right, where is this? Where is this at? This is unacceptable.
Now, that in fairness, that doesn't include Hurts' rushing.
I said
Now,
to the
Burrow's
group
a decent
yesterday.
runner, but he's not the runner that Jalen Hurts is.
That's my first qualm.
Yeah, and Josh Allen, I would have Josh Allen 3, and then personally I'd put Herbert 4, and then I'd put
Hurts
Hurts
5.
and Lamar 5 and 6.
I agree.
That's what I would do. G,
agree
your
with that.
thoughts on that? I do think they have the right 6 guys. I just think he put Hurts too high.
If you want to put him, you want to put Hurts above Lamar Jackson, okay, but he's not better than Mahomes, Burrow, Allen, or Herbert.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
I would put Hurts 5, Jackson 6 right now.
Yeah.
Now, here's the problem. Why is Aaron Rodgers still 8?
Because that's his
He had
boy.
a bad season.
He had a bad season. I think
And
this is.
I shouldn't say that. He did have a bad season, and I just said, well, he's being prisoner of the moment. Now I'm saying I'm being prisoner of the moment. But Aaron Rodgers is having a bad season at 38, and he might retire. He's clearly on the back end, even though he did have 2 great years the years before. Oh,
Before we get to Watson and Brissett, do you know what looking at this list made me realize in totality of the NFL? There is a clear top 5, 6, 7, if you want to include Lawrence in that, where he falls maybe
I got to
right
text
on the
my wife.
outside.
I just got an alarm that there could be a fire at my house. I don't think there is, but
Yeah, text your wife. That's important.
okay.
Outside of that, G, there's a lot of mediocre in the middle. Like, we keep talking about this being the golden era of quarterbacks. The receiving numbers are up, passing numbers are up, but there's a lot of guys in that 9 through, frankly, like 20 range who I don't think are particularly very good.
Oh, we got breaking news a little bit.
The Jalen Carter thing from this morning?
Wow.
Yeah, that happened early this morning.
Wow.
He fall to 42 now?
I didn't even know. Dude, should we tell them or do they already know?
What happened?
Arrest warrant issued for ex-Georgia D tackle Jalen Carter for alleged role in car crash that killed a teammate.
So the news came out, his teammate died back in January. And when it first happened, it was looked at as a drunk driving incident. Jalen Carter told police he was a mile away from the accident when it happened. According to the new report, and the arrest warrant, it's not a report, it's an arrest warrant, the two were allegedly racing, weaving in and out of traffic at 2 a.m. in Athens, both going well over the speed limit. The one car crashed and someone tragically passed away, and Carter was involved with that. So there's an arrest warrant out. Both the charges for Carter are misdemeanor charges, but that certainly will affect his draft stock, or could affect his draft stock as the combine gets underway today. And he's one of the people interviewing today, defensive lineman interviewing. So
Everything's okay at my house.
Good.
My wife was probably just cooking.
No fire.
And set the fire alarm off.
But back to what I said about the quarterbacks here. And you pull back, Anthony, put the list back up real quick. Outside of the top 6, that's top 8. You can put Rodgers in here. Those next 2 rows, 9 through 24.
Is that your phone that's
No.
beeping? Or the G?
I think it's G's phone, it's not mine.
Come on.
But 9
We're
through
a mess
24,
today.
there's a lot of interchangeable pieces here, and a lot of guys, and Watson hopefully we think can get back into that top list. But if you're ranking quarterbacks for 2023, Kyler Murray's at 18. He's coming off a torn ACL. He's not going to play half the season. Brock Purdy just tore his UCL. There's no guarantee he can even throw the ball next year. And granted, Watson and Wilson didn't have good seasons, but in no world, in no capacity, no chance in hell, even if Watson somehow takes a step back from last year, is he worse than Andy Dalton at 22?
This is egregious.
Well, if he's worse than he was last year, then he could be just as bad as
Deshaun Watson at 0.0001% of his capability is better than Andy Dalton on his best day right
well,
now.
whatever. Yeah, that is silly. It is weird that these are the 23. Yeah, I mean, I guess he thinks Rodgers is going to bounce back.
This is what he said about Watson, by the way, in the actual article.
Still has a lot to prove to Cleveland whether or not that guarantee contract was worth it. The money in the years. Played 6 games through 7 touchdowns, 5 interceptions. That means Watson will need to boom next season to avoid a historic bust tag. I mean, that's not he's not wrong.
No, but he's still better than Andy Dalton.
Yeah, these dudes be cracking me up, man. Listen, Ryan Tannehill's on that list. Andy Dalton's on that list. He had Russell Wilson on that list ahead of Deshaun Watson. You know what? I'm actually glad they doing that.
I'm getting a call from the fire department, guys. I'm actually live on TV right now. Sorry, my wife set off the fire alarm with cooking. We are okay. Yeah, I think so. I'm not home, but she told me everything's fine. All right. Yeah, sorry. Well, I can't.
Don't give your wife's number on
no.
on live TV.
I don't know what to do. Should I step out for a second?
Yeah, we'll kill your mic.
Kill my mic for a second. Hold on 1 second, all right?
Yeah, just come. Hey, all chains undone when Bull's house on fire, or maybe it's not.
Yeah.
All right, Bull, you get up for a sec. All right, G-Bush, we're going to hold down the fort without Adam the Bull for a sec. When you look at this list, I'm going to pull it back up here real quick. I'm going to name guys. Tell me if you take Watson or said quarterback for next season.
For next season.
We'll start 9. Watson or Dak Prescott?
Hello?
Give me Watson. I'm taking Watson.
I don't believe in Dak Prescott.
I don't believe in Prescott either. Geno Smith or Deshaun Watson?
Watson.
Kirk Cousins, Deshaun Watson?
Watson.
Jared Goff, Deshaun Watson?
Watson.
Justin Fields or Deshaun Watson?
Watson.
Tua Tagovailoa?
This is a tough one. But Tua be hurt all the time. He got 10,000 concussions. Give me Watson.
There you go. Derek Carr?
Come on, man. You already know what it is. Give me Watson.
Daniel Jones?
You already know how I feel about him.
Brock Purdy?
Come on.
Kyler Murray? He's hurt. It's for next season. He's hurt. He's coming on a torn ACL.
Yeah.
Matt Stafford, also injured. Should be healthy by next year, though.
He old as dirt. Give me Watson.
Tannehill, Garoppolo, Andy Dalton.
Come on.
That's what I don't get. That even if you take everything from last year into consideration, where Deshaun Watson, as we all know, didn't play as well as we hoped he could have.
Mm-hmm.
7 touchdowns, 5 picks in 6 games, not great. But we know what Deshaun Watson can be. And there is no way on God's green earth, in any sense of the capacity, that those guys should be ranked higher than Deshaun Watson heading into next season. If that list was based solely off the 2022 season, fine. He's probably in the right spot. But the list said top quarterbacks for 2023, and going into next season, ain't no way in the hell half those guys should be there.
You know, I think I told somebody this. We was talking about Deshaun Watson. I just believe that when you look at the way the media covers Deshaun Watson, actually, to be truthful, I don't think these guys really want him to succeed anyway. When you looked at just the backlash that the Browns got last year, there was no way, and you know what, that the media was going to give him a fair shake in the media. There were going to always be.
Do you think he'll ever get that fair shake, though?
No.
Fair or foul? You don't think he ever will?
No, because here's think about it like this. When they talk about Kobe Bryant, right? Kobe Bryant is way more established than Deshaun Watson.
Top 15 player.
Top 50 player ever, top 10 player ever for a lot of people. Multiple champion, 5-time ring, all the accolades. Even when you mention Kobe Bryant and you mention that he died, there are people that are hack media guys who will say, well, we have to also mention that he was accused of sexual assault in Eagle, Colorado, blah, 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 blah.
Anytime something like that comes up, for any player that has any taint to them, it's going to always come up. Before we get back to this conversation, though, keep the fire emojis going in the chat room. Everything is okay at my house, but keep those fire. And speaking of the chat room, Anthony, let's do some membership talk here real quick before we get back to this conversation since we're on that.
Yeah,
let's
Mike,
go.
do you want to tease overtime today? Because this was your topic, and for $4.99, all of our members on the Encourages tier get overtime, and for $1.99, you get custom emojis.
Overtime is blowing up, by the way. This is getting bigger and bigger. You want to be a part of that for $4.99 a month.
Yeah,
What's the topic today?
If you guys didn't see something that happened in spring training yesterday, not in the Guardians game, in the Pirates-Orioles game.
I didn't see it.
Then you're in for a treat. Gee, I know you're not watching spring training, so you're in for a treat.
No.
It brings back the best memories possible from your childhood, from my childhood, from your childhood, playing sports. It's something I've never seen in Major League Baseball before, but I promise to put a smile on your face,
All right,
and we
good.
can see more of it throughout sports in general.
I like it. Now, getting back to what you were saying, G, yes, there are some members of the media that will always bring it up. Some people might think that's fair. Some people might think that's unfair. However, I do think by and large, if it's going to be talked about. The worse he plays, the more it gets talked about. The better he plays, the less it gets talked about. Because you can't throw in the snide remarks. Every time there's a tweet about Deshaun Watson, there's people, even in this town, media members, I'm not going to name any names, who will throw every tweet about Deshaun Watson, there's a snide remark to it. Well, if he's playing well, those go away from a lot of people.
Yeah,
I mean,
agree.
Ben Roethlisberger has a terrible reputation.
Yeah.
Terrible amongst a lot of media members. And yet, and we all know what he was accused of actually in college and early in his career. And yet, at the end, it rarely got talked about.
I will ask you this, though. Even if he does play well, he throws for more yards than anybody has ever thrown in the season for the Browns.
Yeah.
He leads the team to a Super Bowl. Do you ever think he'll win an MVP?
Yeah. I don't think the voters will hold that against him because
I think he could. I mean, I think there will be some voters that will do that. In the end, if he plays, personally, if he plays well enough to be in the conversation, I don't really care. I think that's a win anyway. But I mean, you can't argue that there will be probably some voters that will use that as a negative. Did Ben Roethlisberger? I don't know if
No,
I don't
never
know
won
that he ever
MVP.
played at an MVP level.
Did you guys watch How I Met Your Mother? Has either of you guys seen that show?
Not really. I mean, I've seen it, but not really.
Barney, the guy Neil Patrick Harris plays, had
Yeah.
a scale. It was the hot to crazy scale for girls in this sense. So
Right.
if you were
Which is ironic since he's gay in real life.
exactly, but it was if you're this crazy, let's do an exact. I can't draw a scale. But
I
if you're-
remember this a
If
little
you're
bit.
this crazy, you must be this hot. There's a direct
Yeah,
accurate.
that's true. That makes sense.
And if you're super crazy and not super hot, then it's probably not worth dealing with. And if you're,
Right.
you can picture the scale. If Watson plays like this and he's playing well, the amount of comments about everything else goes down.
Well,
and when he's not playing well,
Of course.
it's in the inverse.
And
It's the exact same scale, just change what's on the
and
axis.
it's the same
axis.
for teams in terms of having a guy on the team, right? Why did the Browns give Josh Gordon so many chances? Because he was an
good.
awesome talent.
Unbelievable, yeah.
If Josh Gordon had the talent of just a guy,
If Josh Gordon was Hunter Renfrow,
he would have been gone the first fail or the second fail.
if
at the most.
Deshaun Watson wasn't supremely talented at the quarterback
He
position,
might be out of the league.
he'd be out of the league.
Yeah.
If Brian Hoyer
Right. It's
had
same
the
thing
same
that happened to him.
allegations
Yeah.
that Deshaun Watson said, he's not getting a contract.
No. I will say there is there's a lot that goes into you watching them. Obviously, this is one person's opinion, one person's list, but the reality of it is, if you really drill down on it, him being 24th has nothing to do with what he does on the field. That 24th ranking is a reflection of what somebody A, has disdain for, which is allegations, and B, I still don't understand this thing. Why does everybody consistently bring up $230 million guaranteed? People bring that up so tough. And I'm like,
well, I get it. I mean, it was the first time it ever happened, and the guy didn't perform in his first year, so I get that.
And Lamar
I don't know
Jackson.
that. The only thing I would disagree, maybe, I don't know, is that Matt Castle's a former player. I don't know that he's factoring. He's the one who made the list. He's a former player. I don't know that he's necessarily factoring that into his rankings.
oh, you listen, there was 100,000 players that was former players like, oh, Deshaun Watson should be suspended indefinitely. forever. I mean, Ryan Clark came out, and he was a player. I look at it in terms of this. When you look at Deshaun Watson and you say, okay, he's going to get $230 million guaranteed. Well, what do you think he should have got? Zero guarantee? What would you be comfortable with, right?
Well, I think no matter what he signed for, it would have been brought up because of what he did. But it does stand out because it was the first contract of that ilk. That much money guaranteed. It's never been done. So I think it's fair to say, now, he was in a position where he controlled his destiny, which sometimes quarterbacks don't always get that opportunity. So he was in a unique position. But it is understandable that people would bring it up because the first guy that got the guaranteed money that much, Kirk Cousins did get guaranteed money when he signed Minnesota, but it wasn't $230 million.
95, I think.
Right.
97.
And so, which is a huge difference. And so if he doesn't play well, Castle is right in what he says. If Deshaun Watson is not good in Cleveland, if he's not good this year, it's a disaster. Because they guaranteed him all that money. If he's not good, he's not worth it.
Here's what I'll say. The Browns didn't have no choice. They had no choice to guarantee him.
You guys are both right, by the way.
Yeah.
You guys are both right on opposite sides. Like, both can be true. It can be a terrible signing if he's not good. And the Browns also did the move they had to do. It just didn't work out.
Yeah, now I don't know that we know for sure they had to guarantee him every last dollar, but probably they did. Otherwise, he probably wouldn't have come here.
I mean, why? Yeah, why
we could con ourselves into believing he came here for some other altruistic reason
because he wanted to play with Stefanski in his offense. Which
but the reality
there's probably some truth to that, but the majority is there's $230 million reasons why he came here.
And I'm sure Stefanski might have been a factor, at least small, because I bet in the end all those other teams would have guaranteed, maybe not all the other teams, but there would have been another team that would have guaranteed him the money.
But I look at it like this. Aaron Rodgers is in some sleep tank somewhere right now. I think
he's out, but he did.
Yeah, I mean, this dude does all kind of strange, just weird. I get it. At the end of the day, they gave him how many $1 million guaranteed? 50?
Yeah.
I think it was
but
a year.
It's the combo of the money, the off the field, and he hasn't played well for 3 years.
Or he hasn't played in that long.
He either hasn't played or when the little bit he did, he didn't play well. So all that together is he and the Browns are an easy punching bag right now. And if they don't turn it around and he doesn't turn it around this year, it's just going to get worse.
Yeah.
But honestly, a list like this, it's really hard to project where to put Deshaun Watson.
I mean, you got to look at it like this. Ain't no way in the world Andy Dalton should be nowhere near on this list above him. Jared Goff, no, stop.
Jared Goff had a really good year this year.
Jared Goff did have a good year, but
I mean, come on.
He's not 12 to 24.
Gee, but I would say, listen, we all know the upside for Deshaun Watson is way higher than any of these other guys. Matt Castle's assuming, essentially, that Deshaun Watson is not going to have a good year.
That's what he's saying.
That's fine if he feels that way. I don't agree. I certainly would have him a lot higher on the list. But I honestly would have a hard time deciding where to put him. I don't know where to put him.
The whole middle range, like I said, when we looked at that, the top line, you could argue the order, but that's most likely the top line in some capacity. Lines 2, 3, and 4, there's a lot of moving parts that you can make a compelling argument for as to why X quarterback should be an X spot ahead of XYZ, and quarterback B should be ahead of these guys because
Baker
of
28th, by the way.
Behind Brissett. Which, by the way, Brissett's better than Andy Dalton, too. That was another issue I had on the list. We didn't talk about Brissett.
If you're listening and watching Deshaun Watson, they think you're trash. They just think you just garbage, bro.
Well, Matt Castle thinks you're trash.
Hey, I hope he's putting all on the bulletin board. Yeah, I hope he's doing all of that.
Because when you start putting up numbers, I want you to say it too. Hey, we ain't gonna get on you. When you start throwing for 300-400, come back and say, Matt Castle thought I was garbage, and he said Andy Dalton was better than me. He's not.
Who came on First Take and said the apology better be as loud as the disrespect?
Who said that? That was a great line. Great line. Apology better.
I think it was Carmelo Anthony.
It might have been.
I think it was Carmelo Anthony. And for anyone, and this goes out to us in our jobs, anyone out there, if you have a take and you're wrong, it's okay to backtrack and accept the fact that, hey, I wasn't right every time.
I used to call. I called Darius Garland a JV point guard.
Yeah.
I called him. I said he's a little kid. This guy, I don't know. He's not that good. I don't know what the heck they was doing. And I had to come back and be like, you know what? Darius Garland, I was wrong.
And it happens in all
Everybody's
things.
wrong.
And not to we'll pivot to the Hall of Fame game in a second, Anthony. But the news with Jalen Carter came out this morning, right? Remember a couple of weeks ago, Todd McShay went on ESPN and was like, "I'm hearing there's some character issues with Jalen Carter," and everybody from all depths of the internet attacked Todd McShay, saying,
Yep.
"Look at this article saying he's a great leader. Look at," and those all things might be true. But then this comes out, and it's like, okay, maybe Todd McShay had some information he couldn't share on live TV, and
Right.
he knew this was happening behind the scenes. And
And
if you
if
rip McShay, then the apology better be just as loud. And that goes with all of us.
Who got the number 1 pick?
The Bears. They're going to trade it. They're going to trade it. They have Justin Fields. They're not taking the quarterback.
Oh man, well listen, if you, I still would take him.
He's
Like,
so good.
I still would take him.
He's so good.
Like I don't, like I thought this happened like yesterday.
This happened back in January.
Okay.
So they knew about it and they played him the whole season, but they didn't know he lied to the police officers.
Yes.
Okay.
And he just got the arrest warrant for his arrest came out today. He was not
I
involved.
know, Mike already breaking his rule, by the way.
Yes.
Yeah.